Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Corin, also known as the Kitten Choreographer, and I'm a teen with a passion for makeup and kitten rescue. Today's video is going to be a kitten video, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to give up your foster kittens or your foster animals, or just how to not get rid of them, how to get them adopted out. So when I tell people I foster, one of the most common responses is, "Oh, that's awesome, but how do you ever give them up?" Because if you don't know, the goal of fostering is to bring an animal into your home and then say goodbye to it and let it go to a forever home, because you are, in the end, not supposed to be the forever home. And people are always like, well, how would you ever give them up? You know, like, I would love them too much, I could never give them up. I also get oh, I fostered a couple times, but I kept all the animals, so I had to stop fostering. And I'm always like, but you would do so much more good if you didn't keep them. So I thought I would make a video either giving you motivation to give up your foster animals, or a video you can come back and watch later if you're wanting to keep a foster animal and know you shouldn't, or just a video on someone that is thinking about fostering but doesn't understand how much better it is to actually give up your foster animal than to keep them. So I have 5 reasons here for how to give up your foster kittens or foster animals, whichever animal you foster. Now, I will mostly be talking about kittens because that is what I do foster and that is what my channel is centered around, but if you foster puppies or bunnies or hamsters or whatever, you just like imagine that I'm saying the animal you foster. So number 1 is, if you don't give them up, you can't help more kittens. There is some logic that we're going to be talking here. You have a limit for how many animals you have in your house. Everyone has that limit. Unfortunately, no one can have unlimited animals in their house. And even if you don't have a set number of limit, you know you're gonna reach that limit sometime. And if you keep foster failing all your foster animals, then you eventually won't be able to take in more foster animals. And a quick pause, because I do get questions on what foster failing is. It is the process where you keep a foster animal. It's called foster failing because you fail to give up the animal. Sometimes I disagree with this term because in the end, you're keeping an animal, you're living in a good home, so it's technically not all bad. But it is failing in many instances when the goal was to give up the animal. And in a lot of instances, people have to stop fostering because they foster failed this animal. So my opinion on foster failing is it's okay in some instances, once or twice, but you cannot keep doing it over and over. I have foster failed once. I have fostered over 50 kittens. If I kept all of those 50 plus foster kittens, I would be a hoarder, and that's not good. So I'm not saying foster failing is inherently bad, but I will be using the term foster failing because this video is all about making you not keep your foster animals, because in the end, it's not the best thing to do unless you keep fostering. But eventually, if you keep all your foster animals, you won't be able to keep fostering. I've foster failed once and I'm still fostering, so therefore it's not bad. But I hope you get what I'm saying here. But anyways, if you don't give them up, you can't help more babies. You will run out of space. You won't be able to foster anymore. Then you can't foster. And then those kittens might die because there's no one else to foster them. Just saying, those kittens need you. And yes, the kittens that you have need you too, but they can go somewhere else. You don't need to keep them. The kittens that you will potentially get need you a lot. And just think, if I had kept, let's say I really wanted to keep the very first foster cat I ever fostered. Say I kept her and her 2 kittens because I wanted to keep them too. I would have had 6 cats in my house. I would have had to stop fostering. And then potentially almost 50 kittens would have died because of it. Wow. That's a lot to think of. So let's go ahead and move on to number 2. You have enough space to help your animals temporarily, but not forever. At least for most people, this statement will be true. For most people, I know, they have a foster room or a designated space where they keep their foster animals. And not until they're healthy and have had them for a while do they let them roam their entire house. I pretty much never let my foster cats roam my entire house just because I have my resident cats in there and I don't like to mix them very much. So I have foster rooms. I actually have 2. I have my garage, which is insulated, and so it does have a controlled temperature, and so it is safe for kittens. And I have my bedroom, which is this room, and I currently have no foster kittens in here because all my fosters are in the garage. I actually only have 3 right now, which is not very many for me. There's this room, and I would keep my foster kittens in this room. This room. One room is not enough for an entire cat or dog to live for its entire life. It needs more space if that's available to you. If you live in a studio apartment, okay, make sure it has a window and lots of enrichment. But I have an entire house. It's so unfair to keep a cat in one room when it could have an entire house or apartment. That's just so unfair. If you've watched a lot of my videos, you may know of Smee. He's my foster fail. He's also disabled. He can't walk very well. He has cerebellar hypoplasia and he falls over every time he tries to walk. He can't walk up the stairs. So he stays in the basement most of the time. But one room is enough for him because he's a special case. But for a normal cat, they like to roam, and they would like an entire house if possible. And we do take him upstairs for field trips regularly, where we just carry him upstairs and let him play on the carpet for a while. But we're not here to talk about Smee, even though you guys love him. And the reason I am talking about the one room thing is because I hear a lot of people saying, oh, I'll foster fail my kitten, and then I'll just keep them in the room they're in because it's good for them for fostering, it's good for them forever. No, it's not. It's okay to keep a cat temporarily in one room, especially when they're kittens, when they're tiny, or when they're a nursing mom, or when they're injured or sick, or for whatever reasons you may be fostering this cat. It's okay temporarily. But for many years, it's not the best. And it's okay if there's no other option, but there's most likely another option because there's the option of this cat getting adopted out to a home where it can have the entire house to roam in. Okay, number 3 is what a lot of people seem to forget. These animals are going to good homes. They're not going back to the streets or back to a shelter or back to whatever terrible place you found them. They're going to homes. And yes, in some cases, they do go back to a shelter if you foster for a shelter, and they go back to the shelter to get adopted, but then they go to a home. What was that weird hand movement? I don't know. But the end goal is always a home or an apartment. It's always like with a person or people that love it. It's not the streets. It's not a horrible place. These kittens are going to amazing places. They're going to homes, incredible homes. A lot of people are like, oh, but no one could love them as much as I could. Yes, they could. Anyone has the ability to love a cat as much as you can. Maybe not to foster cats all the time and take care of them non-stop, but they do have the ability to love a cat. And especially if they're looking to adopt a cat, they love that cat. And they're only going to love it more as they get it. And kind of mixing the second and third one a little bit, the adopters can love them even more than you can potentially, because if you're a foster parent like me, you probably have so many other cats and animals running around your house that you have the responsibility to take care of too. These adopters have significantly less animals most of the time, and so they can devote much more of their individualized attention to the cat that you may not be able to. If I kept so many fosters, I would not be able to focus all of my attention on all the fosters as much as they need. And again, it goes back to not having the absolute most amount of attention for a little bit of time. The time it's in foster care is okay, but for the rest of its life, more care and more attention is good. So they're going to good homes. Remember that. They are going to good homes. And you may say, but I don't know if they're a good home. I want to say 90% of shelters and rescues, they have an adoption process. They don't let the kittens go to just anybody. They have an application. They make sure the people are nice, especially if you work through a rescue. Rescues are a lot more picky about who they adopt to. It's going to be okay. They're going to good homes. And another thing, if your rescue allows, ask to meet the adopters or interact with them, because that always makes me feel so much better. I used to foster through a shelter where I never got to meet the adopters and it was really sad, but now I foster through rescues where I always meet the adopters. Like when a rescue requires me to meet the adopters and make sure they're good people. So definitely ask to talk to them, ask to meet them, ask to be there when they pick them up. It's great. It makes me personally feel so much better knowing that they go to good homes. And with the rescues I'm with now, I actually get updates from a lot of the adopters, and it's so great. I love seeing them their new homes. Literally every update I've ever gotten has been, oh my goodness, I love my cat so much. They get along great with my other cat. Everything is perfect. Number 4 is animals adapt quickly and they will love their new homes. Now, don't take this to mean that it's okay to bounce and bounce and bounce kittens and cats around everywhere. It's not really, but moving a cat or kitten from a foster home to a forever home is a necessary move. And yes, they may be scared or they may be nervous when they first meet their adopters, but they will adapt. And especially because these adopters are loving people, they will be patient with the cats and they will love them. And then the cats will open up and love them too, and the cats will be so happy there, just as happy or even more happy than at your house. And so many times I've talked to adopters and they've been like, I've already been to the store 5 times and gotten all the toys, treats, cat beds, and perches and everything they could ever want. Most adopters go on shopping sprees before they get their pets. So they're gonna have so much enrichment and so many toys and so much more space to explore. Because again, back to the space thing. The adopters, while they might keep them in a small room just for them to get acclimated, they then will eventually let them into their entire space. And then they'll have so much more space and enrichment and everything. It'll be great. Number 5 is something that I didn't really consider and that I had to learn over time, and it's that the adopters are going to be so happy. Now, I personally know I get thrilled over the moon whenever I get new foster kittens. Kittens I don't even get to keep forever. When you are getting a kitten that you know you're going to keep for a really, really long time, its entire life, one of the best feelings in the world. So excited, so happy, like jittery and excitement and everything. Those adopters are gonna be thrilled. And just consider how much a cat can change someone's life for the better. People nickname cats therapy animals, even though they're not registered. They purr, they sit in your lap, they calm you down, they make you laugh, they make you smile. I've had updates from adopters where they're like, wow, this cat has improved my life so much. They've helped my mental health. They've just made me so happy. And I'm like tearing up thinking about like how happy these cats are gonna make people. Think if they're going to a home with kids. Kids love cats. These cats are gonna be these kids' best friends for like 20 years. It's gonna be great. And so those adopters are gonna be so happy. And when I think of fostering, I think of not just changing animals' lives, but of changing people's lives. Because I get to give the gift of an amazing cat or kitten to another person, and they get to get that amazing cat or kitten, and they get to get all the joy that I gave to it back. Because I gave the joy to the cat. The cat now has joy, and the cat now wants to give joy. It's a really weird way of thinking about it, but if you like love a cat, the cat's gonna be loving, and the cat's gonna love its people, which was you at one point and is now its adopters, and you're gonna make people so happy. Just think of how happy everyone will be once they're settled in their homes. The cat has all its space, a nice loving lap to sit in forever, and the lap that it's sitting in is extremely happy, or the person attached to the lap it's sitting in is extremely happy because it's there forever. And lastly, I don't have any more reasons, but I do have a quote, and this quote is by Nikki Martinez. She's at My Foster Kittens on Instagram. I could not find exactly where she said this, but I do believe this quote is from her. I might not be quoting it exactly, but the initial idea is from her, and it is, "My heart breaks a little so that theirs can never break again." Because these kittens, they come to you hurt, scared, all the bad things sometimes, and then you help them and to be little bundles of joy, and then you get to give those little bundles of joy and let them be happy somewhere forever, or for their entire lives, which is a long time. And so your heart breaks a little by giving them away so that these kittens can be happy forever. Next time someone asks, how do I give up my foster kittens? I'm gonna send them this video, because in the end, it's a little sad for me, but I create happiness for so many other people. So yeah, that's how I give up my foster kittens, and I hope this video can motivate you to give up some of your foster kittens so you can help more kitties. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, make sure to like it and subscribe for more makeup and kitten related content. I upload videos on Sundays and Wednesdays if I can, and if I can't, then I upload whenever I want to. Also, please make sure to leave any thoughts or questions down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching again, and goodbye!